We're going to go over Mort Garson's 1976 album, Mother Earth's Plantasia. Mort Garson is a Canadian-born composer, arranger, songwriter, and innovator of electronic music. He was one of the first users of Moog synthesizers and used it heavily in his albums in the 60s and 70s. This Mother Earth's Plantasia album, again, is from 1967, and I think easiest way to describe this album is with the Wikipedia summary, which Wikipedia, again, greatest resource known to man. I love it so much. If it works for Is It a Film, it'll work for this. Which the basic ass Wikipedia intro is. The music on it was composed specifically for plants to listen to. The album was very limited distributed upon release, only being available to people who bought a house plant from a store called Mother Earth in Los Angeles, or those who purchased a Simon's mattress from a Sears outlet.
I don't understand that one.
Both of which came with the record. As a result, the album failed to attain widespread popularity around the time of its release. Wonder why. However, it's since gained a cult following as an early work of electronic music. Garrison used a Moog synthesizer to compose the entire album.
Nice.
So it's music for plants.
Yeah,
it's ambient. It's kind of ambient electronic music for plants. And it got a reissue earlier this year through Sacred Bones Records, and I discovered it through my YouTube discovery feed, which I discover a lot of stuff through randomly. This is one of the weird albums that actually I found to be really potent through it. So it's 30 minutes, exactly 30 minutes, 10 songs of just...
And then more, and you kill the plant. It's got to be exactly 30 minutes.
It's got to be 30 minutes. Yep. 31 minutes, all your plants dead.
All dead. 29 minutes, they're dead.
They're dead. 30 minutes, still dead. You didn't plant any plants, you dumbass.
You still have to water them. God.
Music isn't water?
No.
Oh, damn it. Going over this thing as a whole, it's very warm in its tones.
Yeah.
It's very epic in scale, weirdly enough.
It's weird how, like, this album... made for plants, sometimes its epicness reminded me of like Plastic Anniversaries, like moments of epicness.
Yeah, it's that weird. It's weird that something for plants is intended to be so plasticky and kind of rich. Feels like I'm eating an entire chocolate bar at once. That's how this album feels. Yeah, it's just like too rich, very saturated in sound. Just going over everything, I just think it's 30 minutes of just some of the weirdest electronic music I've heard. It really reminds me of kind of like GameCube or NES, SNES scores.
Yeah.
I just feel like kind of weird, almost chiptune vibes coming off this thing. I think it's just a strange album that somehow got put on somehow got, I don't know, I stumbled there. It somehow got made for a plant company, and got released. And there's no wondering why this game to cult following, because it is a novelty record. Yeah. Because it's intended for plants, but it's not just intended for plants. It is. It's great. Almost, I don't want to call it ambient electronic because I don't think it's ambient music, but it is great electronica.
Yeah. It's so weird for like an album where like it's made for plants. You'd almost expect them to like scientific, like what sounds are best for plants, and just like play those. Yeah. And that would not necessarily be something that would translate well to something for people to listen to. Yeah. But like this is very listenable.
I liked one of the YouTube comments I read, which quoted the Rick and Morty show, or Rick and Morty, where it's like, human music, which I really think this is what it is. It's just like if aliens thought what music was, it would be this.
Plant music.
You get moments like Symphony for the Spider Plant, which come off as a little bit more jazzy. You get moments like Plantasia and Baby Blues Tears, which are a little bit more epic. You get modes for like Ode to African Violet, which come off as a little bit more frantic, which is nice. Everything on here just is soothing for the soul. It's relaxing. It's never too harsh or anything. It just may be a little...
It helps me photosynthesize.
It helps you photosynthesize. It helps me develop photos, which I think is also photosynthesizing.
I think you have to put like a hyphen in yours.
No. But just don't take our word for it. Let's do a new segment here. We're going to be going over the album of the year, Jonathan. Do you know what album of the year is?
No.
It's like the 10th greatest resource known to man. Like Wikipedia's the first.
We have too many good resources.
5's like IMDb. 2 is like Google reviews. 10th is album of the year. People watch Is the Film. This is pretty similar to a lot of the segments we do on there. Album of the Year, a website which helps systematically rank the albums of the year. It has an 83 overall critic score. It is the 13th best record of 1973.
What's number one?
Stevie Wonder. I forget what album.
That makes sense.
David Bowie's number 2 with Station to Station.
Okay, those two should switch. Definitely.
Stevie Wonder, he was supposed to be second, but he just kind of got, since he's blind, he didn't know where to go.
That's really offensive.
It is. Like. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the best joke I can make.
Yeah. Point being is David Bowie does makes better music, especially Station to Station.
It's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite, but like it's still. Like,
I don't know what my favorite is. It's just I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It can't be Black Star though.
Yeah.
That's the normie pick.
So we're gonna be going over some of the user reviews for this because I think they also help paint the picture of what this album is.
Yep.
First one from Simple Jizz, who gave this an 86.
Simple Jizz.
Simple Jizz.
Jish.
Jizz. That's why.
Simple Jizz.
It's not Simple Jizz, John.
It's gonna be Simple Jizz.
It's complex jizz.
Oh.
Jizz is complex. It's able to create human life. It's not simple, Jonathan.
That's pretty simple.
You're fucking simple.
You take the jizz, you take the egg, and boom.
I think you know sex less than me. Who one time thought you just go up to the vagina and you go.
Look, okay, am I wrong though to make life?
You need like
the biological like things. It's the sperm and the egg, and the sperm enters the egg, and then it turns into a zygote.
Zeitgeist? No. Babies aren't the zeitgeist, Jonathan. It's hip hop currently at the moment.
Yeah, but what if the babies were the rap?
Little Baby? Da Baby?
No, like actual babies.
I'm pretty sure Little Baby.
That's pure mumble rap.
Simple just says, if I were a plant, I would give this 100, but I don't have chloroplasts, so 86 it is.
I want to know, like, how did you come up with 86 just because you don't have chloroplasts?
Because it's 14 less than 100. Duh.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid.
Yeah, next one's from Mika, who gave it an 85. This album makes me feel like a bean sprout growing in the wild. I love it. I love it with almost every fiber of my non-plant being. Sometimes people say I look deep in thought, but in reality, this album is just playing on repeat in my head. Genius work.
Then why is it only an 85?
Throwback GMAC gave it an 85. Ripley's Believe It or Not, music can affect plants in different ways. While many scientists say it's a theory, most would agree it's a compelling one. Objectively speaking, roots of a plant can feel the textures and vibrations of music, and depending on the genre, can either be a healthy addition or
this album.
Or a silent killer. Play something like metal or shoegaze, and the roots will actually start to frail. Thank you, Kevin Shields, for killing my plants.
Thank you, MC Ride, for killing the entire plants in my entire neighborhood.
I'm just imagining, you know that scene in The Simpsons when Bart stacks all the megaphones together? Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining that, but it's MC Ride in a Planet Earth store, and he goes, and it just kills all the plants.
Look, when I left my last neighborhood, I didn't like the homeowner association, so I just drove around blaring death grips out of my car and killed all the plants.
But like you live next door to your grandparents.
I missed that house. I put up a barrier around their house. They asked, why am I doing this? And I was like, trust me. But then I just went around and killed all the plants.
Play anything from folk, jazz, and even ambient, and this is up for debate. Not only will root development increase, but also greenery. Funnily enough, decades before anyone would consider that a possibility, Mort Garson made something truly unique, and that he made an album to bond with your plants. This album is actually a staple in the Guardian community, and for some time is the very thing that connects someone to their plants in the first place. If that isn't inclusiveness in a nutshell, I don't know what is. It's pretty whimsical and childlike, which is odd seeing how previous works were focused on the occult, which I forgot to mention. Yeah, some his previous works were inspired by the occult.
Look, druids.
Druids.
Pagans.
Like the Undertaker's druids?
No, but like just
bunch
pagans.
Of people wear...
Just like a cult and like the earth have pretty much long gone hand in hand.
Yeah, Plantasia wasn't actually released in 1976. 1976 was just a huge pagan holiday, so it was put there anyway.
Yeah.
Like Christmas.
Like Christmas.
if that isn't an inclusiveness in a nutshell, I don't know what is. It's pretty whimsical and childlike, which is odd, seeing how previous works were focused on the occult. Hey, you got to be a little nuts to be that imaginative. Honestly, you can't have a more accurate album cover than that. Listening to this makes me want to hug my baobabs and starfruit tree. I know people use the word breezy as a detrimental word for albums, but it couldn't be more fitting than, yeah, this album's very breezy and easy. Cover girl. A gentle breeze is hitting your face, swaying grass and crashing against tree branches. A sincere and delicate 30 minutes of your time, vibrant and spunky music for your garden. It is spunky.
It is spunky.
It is spunky. It has that spunk.
However, the way you're describing like bonding with your plant, that's the way somebody talks of like bonding with an animal, like their pet dog.
Plants talk back.
Do they?
Yeah.
Did they say feed me, Seymour? What would happen if you played this album for that plant?
That plant? Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. It'd probably just fall asleep. That's how you defeat it. Oh. You just put this on. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Your homeboy bought the plant album and he's excited. I can't help it. Next review is from King K. Rool is back. He is back. He's in Smash Infinite or whatever it's called. Smash. What's the new Smash game called?
The one that's like already came out?
Yeah.
Like Ultimate or something?
Ultimate. That's not Infinite. Would have been a better title. Ultimate. King Rool is back.
No, the Infinite, they can't call it Infinite until they include fucking Waluigi. Because it's not Infinite if Waluigi isn't there.
Which is, he gave it an 80. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Anyways, this is a really cool and calming, kind of reminds me of the Earthbound soundtrack. Yeah. Definitely reminds me of the Earthbound soundtrack in some ways. I'm pretty sure that soundtrack was inspired by this album in some kinds of ways. This album's a really cool idea by Throwback G-Max Review, and this album seems really lively to plants. I mean, if I was a plant and could physically talk and move, I would consider this a 10 out of 10 and my favorite album of all time. A lot of people saying this could be a 10 out of 10, but they're not giving it.
What do you think would change if you were suddenly a plant who also could vocalize opinions on music?
But also, if I was a plant, every album would be a 10 out of 10 because I want to know the difference because I don't have ears.
That's true.
Or I would just hate every album. Every album would be 0 out of 10 because I couldn't hear.
What's all this fucking bass doing?
But I'm not. Maybe one day I can actually get into gardening and actually make myself important. Who knows? Maybe over the summer I might start a garden. So thanks a lot, Mort Garson, for making me interested in gardening. I'm not interested in gardening, but I really like this album. I will play it. I will play it to a stock photo of a garden. And I will physically just make it greener by using saturation.
I'll buy one of those weird, like, tiny little plants that you don't have to water that much, and I'll just play this album right next to it.
I'll buy a fake plant, and I'll eat it.
Have fun with that.
What, you can't?
I'll buy you a cactus. Eat that.
I only eat fake cactuses because those are more healthier than actual cactuses.
So how'd you make the fake cactus? Well, I took a tennis ball, yeah, and I put thumbtacks in it.
Here's the stupefying question.
Vincent ate it.
Here's the stupefying question for you: do fake cactuses have water in them?
I mean, you can put water in them, I guess, if you want to.
So yeah,
yeah,
sure,
they can. It's a distinct possibility.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this album.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with it. I don't think it's like one of the greatest albums I have of all time or anything like that, but I do think it's a really fun classic that deserves for us to be talking about and going over stupid reviews for it and having fun.
Yeah, but again, like, what you shouldn't make me talk about is definitely Trout Mask Replica.
Yeah, you shouldn't donate $25 to our Patreon and make force us to review Trout Mask Replica because I hate that album so much.
That album so much.
Do not donate $25 to our Patreon.
It's definitely at the top of my list of albums, possibly worst, but it could be best. It's most likely worst though.